Hello and welcome back to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi. We are excited to have you with us again as we dive into some important articles from today's The Hindu and The Indian Express newspapers. In our first topic, we will have a closer look at why the air in our capital isn't as fresh as it should be and explore some simple and smart solutions that can help clear the air. In our second topic, we will dig into a recent report by the Reserve Bank of India and discuss whether the rise in consumer credit should be raising any alarms. After that, in our simplified section, we will take up 5 articles and we will try to explain them in simplest language possible to enrich your understanding of the newspapers. Additionally, we have also incorporated some prelims pointers which is going to be very crucial for your upcoming prelims 2025 examination. So have a look on them also and stay tuned. So our first topic is Delhi, the polluted capital. The context of this topic is that there has been a report which has been released by a Swiss company with the name IQ Air. And the name of report is the World Air Quality Report 2024, which says that New Delhi continues to be the world's most polluted capital, while Meghalaya's Barnihart is the world's most polluted metropolitan area. And this particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 3, environmental pollution and degradation. This is a very good example of the list where you should not be a topper. Now this report, which has identified various areas, various cities, especially in the central as well as the South Asia region. It says that the Barnihart in Meghalaya is the most polluted. And the report majorly measures the concentration of PM 2.5 material, which are one of the fine particles, but they are very dangerous for the human health. They can cause lung failures, they can cause various kidney related diseases, as well as it can cause the mortality of the people also. And if you specifically look into this area around near the Indian subcontinent, this is the area where we have a very high concentration of particulate matter 2.5. And apart from the Delhi, the other cities which were observed in this particular report, they have a significantly lower concentration of PM 2.5 as compared to the Delhi. And this is the location of Barnihart, which you should keep it in mind that this is located along the Assam Meghalaya border. Also, India is the world's one of the most monitored country in the region, hosting more than half of the region's stations. And the IQ Air has established various stations in different cities, and based on the observations that they are getting from these stations, they are giving the list of most polluted cities. The few lines which has been written and which will be very apt for the poor quality of air, the lines are that चेहरे पे सारे शहर के यहाँ गर्दे मलाल है, जो दिल का हाल है वही दिल्ली का हाल है. गर्दे मलाल means cloud of regret or a shadow of sorrow. That in Delhi, most of the people are battling with their personal and professional problems, and that is the reason there is a visible stress on their face. There is a visible sadness on their face. That is the shadow of regret or shadow of sorrow on their face. And same is the condition of the air of Delhi, which is filled with the cloud of pollutants. Now, what exactly are the major reasons for the poor air quality in Delhi? Some of the anthropogenic reasons are the vehicular emissions. In Delhi, there are so much motor vehicles that we do not have even proper space to get proper parking for these vehicles. And that is the reason you will find that almost 50% of vehicles are parked on the road itself, that we do not have even proper space to walk on the footpaths. And as per the Center for Science and Environment 2021 report, it says that nearly 40% of Delhi's air pollution is contributed by the vehicles itself. Apart from that, the particulate matter 2.5, 22% of the contributions of particulate matter 2.5 is coming from the vehicular emissions itself. And Delhi have at least 12 million registered vehicles as per this report of CSE 2021. When we have so much high number of vehicles on the roads, obviously it will add to the pollutions, it will add to the particulate matters. Apart from that, another reason that why we have witnessed such high vehicular emissions, because of the high purchasing power of the people, that most of the people who are living in Delhi have a decent amount of the wages, decent amount of earnings, and with the help of that they are able to buy the cars, and that is the reason we are witnessing such high number of cars and the motor vehicles on the roads of Delhi. Another important factor is the industrial pollutions, which as per the Central for Pollution Control Board report 2020, it says that 10 to 15% of particulate matter 2.5 contributions are coming from the industries itself. And one of the major reason is the location of Delhi, which is in the vicinity of some major industrial stations. For example, the Gurgaon, the Faridabad, the New Okhla Industrial Development Authority, that is Noida, and the Greater Noida, where we have lot of industrial activities going on, which adds to the pollution of the Delhi NCR region. Then the construction dust. If you would have roamed around Delhi NCR region, you will see lot of high-rise buildings are being constructed, and there are a lot of construction activities that is going on. And it is not only limited to these high-rise buildings, the various industries, the various roads, construction, etc. that is going on. That further adds to the particulate matter as well as dust, which further leads to enhancement in the pollution levels of the capital. As per this National Environmental Engineering Research Institute NEERI 2020 report, it says that the 30% of the particulate matter 10 and particulate matter 2.5 levels are coming from the construction dust itself. Then the crop residue burning, that is the stubble burning, stubble that is left after the paddy has been harvested. Now, as per this System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting 2022 SAFAR, it says that the stubble burning contributes up to 44% of Delhi's air pollution during the October-November time period, especially in the month of this October-November, when the winds are generally northwesterly in directions. It picks up that polluted smoke from the regions of Punjab, Haryana, where a lot of stubble burning are going on after the harvesting of the paddy, so that the fields can be made ready for the cultivation of wheat. So that is another important reason that why we are witnessing that high level of air pollution. Then the domestic and the waste burning. Delhi have a very high population, almost 33 million people are living as per the data of 2024. And when we have such high population, the solid waste generation is also very high in the city of Delhi. And most of this solid waste is being dumped in some of the landfill sites like Gazipur landfill site, Bhalsa landfill sites, or at the Gazipur landfill sites. And at these landfill sites, if there will be a small spark that will happen, either due to the impact of high temperature or due to some human reasons, man-made reasons, these fires will go on for months, and with lot of interventions it will not be possible to douse this fire, and that will keep on adding the pollutants, particulate matter in the air of the Delhi itself. So as per the study by Urban Emission Initiative 2021, the domestic and the waste burning contributes 5 to 10% of Delhi's PM 2.5 levels, with localized spikes during the winter season. And around 15% of waste in Delhi is burned annually as per the CPCB report on waste management 2020. Now, some other anthropogenic reasons or the human related reasons are the increased population that we have witnessed. Why? Because Delhi, which is seeing influx of immigrants, that people are coming for good jobs, people are coming for good education, and also there are various push factors from their local regions, that there is lack of proper jobs, there is high poverty in the rural areas, and that is attracting people to these areas of Delhi. So with these high level of migration, with these high level of population, the city's population has become unsustainable. We do not have that infrastructure, we do not have those resources that we can manage the city's air, water properly with the limited resources that is have. So with the increased population, with the increased migration, it is creating a resource constraints, and that is the reason it is further becoming very difficult for the government to manage the air quality. If you look into this data from United Nations as well as the various municipal corporations, that Delhi's population density is almost 11,320 people per kilometer square. And that further creates a resource constraint, that when we will have such a high population density, apart from that, the non-linear city structure further impacts the poor quality, further impacts the quality. What does it mean by the non-linear city structure? Means the city is not planned properly. For example, what you study in the Indus Valley civilization, that is the planned city structure, that roads were cutting at right angles, the houses were built properly, there were proper connections of sewage. When there will be a linear city structure, it will help in displacement of air, as well as it will also reduce the traffic congestions that will go on. And due to this non-linear city structure, the unplanned city structure, there are more number of traffic congestions that are going on, and that further leads to enhancement of poor air quality because of the vehicular emissions, because of vehicles got stuck in the traffic itself for the majority of the time, as well as the displacement of air also gets inhibited due to the non-linear or the unplanned city structure. So apart from that, there are some natural reasons which comes into play, especially into the winter months, especially during the winter months. What happens during the Delhi's winter months? The wind direction changes to northwesterly. That majority of the winds are northwesterly. That's as per the National Physical Laboratory, 72% of Delhi's wind in winters comes from the northwestern parts of India and Pakistan, while remaining 28% comes from these easterly regions. When this northwesterly winds that is coming from the Pakistan region or from the regions of northwest of Delhi, they are picking up dust particles, they are picking up pollutants from these regions, and they are bringing that pollutants in Delhi NCR region, which is impacting the quality of air in Delhi. Apart from that, the wind speed, which significantly declines during the months of winter. When the wind speed is very slow, it further doesn't help, or it prevents the dispersion of pollutants, and most of the pollutants gets concentrated in the limited areas, and when the pollutants are concentrated, obviously it will further degrade the quality of air. Another important factor is the temperature inversion. Normally, with the increase in the height or increase in the altitude, the temperature decreases. But temperature inversion is the phenomena where with increase in the altitude, we witness increase in the temperature of the air also. Why that happens? Because that during the months of winter, due to the low temperature surrounding the earth or the surrounding the ground, that the air parcels near the ground gets cold, and above that cold air there is a warm air parcel, there is a warm air. Now this cold air gets stuck in above that warm air. So there is a warm air belt, and then there is a cold air belt below that warm air belt. When this cold air gets stuck in that warm air which is above that cold air belt, now it will further prevent the dispersion of that pollutants. Pollutant will not be able to escape that cold air parcel, and it will not be able to move beyond that area. Then further that particular pollutants will be limited to that area, which will further increase the pollutant level of pollutants as well as pollution in that area. So these are some of the natural reasons also which are contributing to the pollution of the Delhi. So what are the various government initiatives which has been taken to address the issues? First of all, government has set up various stations to identify, to get an idea about the air quality, and that is the reason air quality index is being released, which majorly focuses on 8 major air pollutants, that is the ground level ozone, the particulate matter 10, the particulate matter 2.5, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, ammonia, as well as the lead. Also, we have shifted from BS4, that is Bharat Stage 4, directly to Bharat Stage 6. As per the Union Minister, due to this switching from BS4 directly to BS6, we will get a help of reduction in NOx emission, especially in the diesel cars, that we will see a 68% reduction in nitrogen oxide emissions. We will also witness a 87% reduction in particulate matter emissions. And in the heavy duty vehicles, with regard to the trucks, the big buses, etc., we will see 82% reduction in NOx emissions and 67% reduction in particulate matter emissions. Apart from that, there has been a national air quality monitoring program which has been launched with an objective to determine the status and trends of ambient air quality, to identify the non-attainment cities, as well as to ascertain where the prescribed national standards with regard to the air quality are being followed or not, and to develop policies towards the reduction of pollutant level. And with regard to the air quality index, it has been categorized into some subcategories with the color code also, which gives us an idea whether the air quality is good, satisfactory, moderate, poor, very poor, or of severe air quality. Also, this is a question of 2016 which is related to the air quality index itself. Please tell me the answer of this question in the comment box. Some other initiatives were Commission for Air Quality Management, which has been established by an act with the name Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region and Adjoining Areas Act 2021. Also, there has been a graded response action plan which came into picture after the air quality gets degraded in the Delhi, and it is an emergency response mechanism in the Delhi NCR region based on the average air quality index in capital, and under this plan restrictions are placed on phases related to activities of transportation, construction, industries, among other. If the Stage 4 is the air quality index when it breaches 450 level, then the educational institutions are going to be set. Odd even vehicle policy may be ruled out to address the vehicular emissions. Also, there can be curbs on non-emergency commercial vehicles. So with the degradation of the air quality, this graded response action comes into the picture, and at the graded response action plan 4, the major curbs will be in place in the cities. Apart from that, to address the issue of the stubble burning, government has came with various programs. For example, the subsidized happy seeders were given to the farmers, are being provided to the farmers, where there is no need to burn this stubble itself. Rather, there can be some crops which can be directly sown without burning the stubble itself. So what should be done? What should be the way forward? First important area that we need to focus is need for promotion of the electrical vehicles as well as the public transportation that can help in addressing the issue of vehicular emissions that is coming, as well as it will decrease the consumption of fossil fuels in the city. We need to expand the EV infrastructure, for example, charging stations for these EV vehicles, as well as we need to improve the public transit accessibility. That the metro stations that are there, the metro facility, they need to be access to other parts of the cities. Apart from that, there should be a transit oriented transport facilities that should be available, that from every metro station there should be some connection of the electric buses, etc., so that people can reach to their vicinity properly without taking help of autos and their personal vehicles. Also, there is need for implementation of strict construction dust control measures. There is need for force covering sites, whatever the construction sites that are running, all the strict measures that are in place related to construction activities, they need to be followed properly. Also, there is need for regulation of dust suppressant usages, for example, water, wax, etc., silicone gels, etc., that are recommended in some places that can be used. And there is need for adopting cleaner fuels for industries. For example, there is need for transition to natural gas, and we need to ban the furnace oil, which is again a major air pollutant. Also, we need to provide subsidies for stubble management alternatives, because understand very clearly that until and unless farmers will be motivated that the alternative that they are going to use as opposite to the stubble burning, they are not going to leave the stubble burning, because stubble burning is the easiest way to get rid of that stubble. If the farmer is not getting any motivation, any support from the government, of any alternative method opposite to the stubble burning, why will he switch to that stubble burning? And that is the reason there is need for providing subsidies on various equipments like happy seeders at a majority level, at more robust level, so that farmer can switch from these unsustainable methods to the sustainable methods. We need to equip farmers with the technologies, and we also need to incentivize the eco-friendly practices. For example, PM Kusum scheme, which is helping in solar pump set installation, all these needs to be promoted so that farmer can switch from fossil fuel based irrigation practices to non-fossil fuel based irrigation practices or the renewable energy practices. We need to promote the precision agriculture. We need to also switch to the majority of the sustainable practices, whether it is related to the fertilizer use and others. Also, we need to strengthen the waste management and recycling systems, and we need to address all the three levels, that is starting from the collection stage, then to processing stage, and then to further at the disposal stage. As of now, the problem is at collection stage itself, that when the waste is not segregated, that is what is the biodegradable waste, what is non-biodegradable waste, it is creating problems in processing, it is creating problem in disposal also. So we need to ensure that the proper waste management practices that came into the picture, that has been highlighted by the solid waste management rules also, those needs to be followed in letter and spirit. So we need to ban open burning, we need to improve the waste segregation efficiencies, and that can help in addressing the issues of the waste burning that is going on. Also, we need to expand the green cover and urban forest. We need to develop parks, plant trees, increased biodiversity corridors, because this can help in improving the air quality with the fresh oxygen that they will provide, and that will also help in carbon sequestration. Also, we need to improve the air quality monitoring and enforcement, that there should be real-time sensors, and those sensors should be properly checked. There should be proper maintenance of those sensors, and there should be strict penalties that should be levied on the people who are going for non-adherence of various rules that are in place. This is a mains practice question that you people can write from this topic. So our second topic is rising consumer credit cause for concern? And the context of this topic is that a recent report by Reserve Bank of India highlights the shift towards healthy and prime borrowers in the economy. However, the fact that there is a significant amount of borrowing being done for the purpose of consumption itself is a cause for concern, especially from the subprime borrowers or the lower household people. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 3, growth and development. So the Financial Stability Report 2024, it says that the household debt has been at the rate of 36.6% of GDP in June 2021, and it has significantly increased. It has gradually increased to 41% in March 2024, and it has increased to 42.9% of GDP in June 2024 itself, as per the Financial Stability Report. You can see this uptrend in this debt increase. But if you look into the major emerging economies, there is household debt that is in these economies also, and it is lesser as compared to what is in India. But the household debt to GDP ratio is a concern. Why? Because it is almost reaching to the 45%, which is a cause of concern, that majority of the debt that is being, and moreover that whatever the debt that is being taken, for what purpose it is being used. If it is being used for some asset creation, that will further lead to demand of goods and services, which will further fuel the economic growth. But if it is being only used for the debt servicing, for providing various interest on the loans that has been already taken, then it is not helping economy to a larger extent. Then what exactly is this financial debt and non-financial debt? So non-financial debt are those kind of debts which are being taken for your own purposes itself. For example, if government is issuing T-bills, okay, treasury bills, with the help of money that the government will be raising through T-bills, they will be using that money for meeting their expenditure. For example, the bonds that are being issued by the privates, The money that will be used by these businesses with the issuance of these bonds, that will be used for the various purposes for which that has been issued. For example, for the construction of any infrastructure project. For example, credit card loans that are being taken by the people, they are being used for the own purposes. The housing loans that is being taken by the households, that again is being used for the same purpose. So the non-financial debt are those kind of debts which are being taken for, which are being used for own purpose, whereas the financial debt are the debt which is being used, which is being taken for the third party lending. For example, the various debt or the borrowings that banks are doing or the non-banking financial companies are doing with the help of marginal standing facility or with the help of repo rate, repo corridor, all that is being used for the lending purposes. So that is, they are not taking it for their own use, rather they are taking it for lending it to a third party. So those are parts of financial debt, and that is the reason this question, prelims PYQ 2020, which has been asked, that in the context of Indian economy, non-financial debt includes which of the following: housing loans owned by household, that housing loan is for own purpose; amount outstanding on credit card, that is again for own purpose or household; treasury bill, that is again being issued by the government for meeting their own expenditure. So the correct answer here was D, 1, 2 and 3. So is this rising consumer credit cause of concern? First of all, why it is a concern? Because of the household assets, which we have seen a decline. For example, in the month of June 2021, the household assets were 110.4% of the GDP, and it has declined to 108.3% by March 2024. So that shows that there has been reduction in assets and increase in debt. So what does it indicate? It indicates that the greater proportion of borrowing is being used for the consumption itself, consumption of goods and services, like the daily groceries consumption that are being done. Along with that, it is also giving an idea that the majority of this income is being, or the debt is further being used for the debt servicing, that the income of people are being used to give various loans that are they have taken earlier, to give various interests that the particular households has earlier taken. And it is also visible from the fact that people who belongs to some suburban areas or rural areas, you would find that a company named Bajaj Finserv, which is providing phone pay loan pay phone, that everyone who do not have even money, they can get phone with the help of loans itself, and every month they will be paying EMIs. So what we are witnessing, that rather than investing the debt that is being taken by the households for the purpose of creation of some assets like houses, like cars, etc., they are spending on the consumption, especially on the groceries and other things. Also, what we have seen, that there has been increase in the borrowers but not the indebtedness, that there has been increased in the number of borrowers, not higher level of indebtedness per borrower. What does it mean? Especially after the COVID-19, what happened with the jam trinity that came, that is Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile, with the digital revolution, digital India that we saw, there has been an increased financial inclusion that we witnessed in our economy. When we witnessed increased financial inclusion, obviously it will be much easier for people to get the institutional credit, and that is the reason that the number of borrowers are increasing manifold with every month, with every year. Why? Because if any person now wants to get a loan, he have a bank facility, the particular bank have a clear idea about the credit score of that particular person. So now that person can get loan easily. So there has been increase in the number of borrowers, but the level of indebtedness per borrower has not increased. And that also shows that there has been a better accessibility of credit to the people, and it also doesn't necessarily point to an increase in the individual borrower risk. That overall debt has increased, but it doesn't give an idea that for every individual there has been an increased risk of the borrowing or increased risk of default. But the credit quality of borrowers, if we talk about the subprime borrowers, has been reducing over time. What does this mean about the subprime borrowers? That based on the credit score of the people, that how well they have paid their earlier loans or the liabilities that they have taken, the borrowers has been categorized into different subheads. For example, super prime are the people who have the highest or the most better quality of credit scores. Then the prime quality, which have the people who does not have that good quality of the credit score as compared to super prime. Then near prime, subprime. So with the poor quality of the credit score, there will be high interest rate that will be charged on that particular customer, because if your credit score is not good, it means that you may default in future, and that is the reason a high interest rate is being charged on you. So it says that the subprime borrowers has been reducing over time, and 2/3 of the household debts belonging to prime or above prime borrowers itself, people who have good credit score. Also, it shows a healthy borrowing growth, means asset creation by financially sound borrowers rather than rising indebtedness. That the people who belongs to super prime or prime category, who are sound borrowers, they are taking the debt and they are investing that in some productive assets. Also, the concerns about the borrowing for the consumption. It says that there has been a shift or there has been increase of rising loan for the consumption. Borrowing for the immediate consumption needs has been a major uptrend in the recent years. What does consumption needs means? People are using credit cards for buying various groceries, apparels, etc. And it also gives us an idea that differing borrowing patterns by the income level, means while 64% of loans are taken by the super prime borrowers are for asset creations, means the super prime borrowers are taking debt, they are buying some home, they are buying some cars, some productive assets, and nearly half of the loans taken by the subprime borrowers are of consumption purposes. The people who have low credit score, they are mainly taking that amount for the purpose of consumption itself. And there is stress among the lower income households that there has been delinquencies related to the personal and credit card debt between September 23 and September 2024. Why? Because understand that the inflation in the economy has been very high significantly for last few quarters. When the inflation was very high, the purchasing power of people decreased. When the purchasing power decreased, it further reduced the demand of goods and services. When the demand of goods and services declined, then the demand of the job growth has further seen a decline. When the jobs are declining, obviously people will not have money to spend, people will not have money to pay their personal and credit card bills. So especially in the low income households or who were also the subprime borrowers, we have witnessed some defaults on their loans. Also, what has been the impact of consumption debt on the economic health? For macroeconomic implication of rising consumption debt, there has been concern about the financial products that exposes the lower income households to greater debt, potentially leading to financial marginalization. What does it mean? That let's suppose there is a person who is taking loan and now he bought a flat. Okay? He or she bought a flat with the help of that debt. Now that person will not be paying the monthly rent that he or she was earlier paying. There may be a case the flat that he or she has bought, the monthly EMIs that he or she is paying is equivalent to the rent which he or she was earlier paying. So in a way he already got an asset also, and the rent that he was earlier paying is the amount that he is paying in EMI. After few years he will be the owner of that flat, he will be owner of that asset. But if there is a person who is taking the loan and he is only spending that money for groceries, for apparels, for buying mobile phones, then he is not creating any productive assets. And in future he may face financial marginalization, that he will not have sufficient amount of assets to meet his long-term liabilities. Also, the consequences for the income multiplier. What does it mean? That income multiplier actually measures the increase in economic output resulting from an increase in the investment. That when the money which is being taken as a debt, and the people have taken debt, and when they are the subprime borrowers, they have very high interest rate being charged on the loan they have taken, means every month they are paying a very high amount of EMI on the loans that they have taken. So the majority of their earnings are going for the EMIs itself. that is for the debt servicing. It means they do not have sufficient amount of money to spend in the economy. When they do not have sufficient amount of money to spend in the economy, that further will lead to decrease in the demand of goods and services. When there will be decrease in the demand of goods and services, it will further slow down the production of the various factories, various businesses that are in place. When there will be decrease in the production from these factories, from these companies, that will further take a hit on the revenue, on the profits of these companies, and that will further lead to the situation that we are witnessing at this point of time, that is capital flight. The financial institutional investors are selling their investment in our country and they are leaving our country and they are investing in some other countries where they seems to have a better future. Why? Because in past few quarters we have seen a decline in the revenue and the profits of the company because of the decreased demand. So when people is using most of the debt for the debt servicing, it will also impact the income multiplier, which will impact the investment. Why? Because when demand of goods and services increases in the economy, then the private companies, the private players are motivated to further invest in the economy. Also, the risk of economic fragility. When there is high level of household debt, especially among the poorer household, and if we see a shift from the super prime borrowers to subprime borrowers, the subprime borrowers who do not have a very good credit rating, who do not have a very good history of repaying the loans, there may be an increase in the cases of defaults, and there are risk involved, especially for the turning these debt into non-performing assets, that is NPAs, and that may create issues for borrower also and for overall banking system as well as for overall macroeconomic stability. So what should be done? The first, there is need for encouraging the asset creation oriented borrowing. For this we need to lower the interest rates. We also can give some tax incentives to encourage the borrowings. For example, if government is shifting or government is giving some tax incentives to people who have taken housing loans, then people may be motivated to take housing loans and further investing in the productive assets. Also, there is need for promoting the financial literacy and awareness, and because people will understand the risk and the responsibilities of the borrowing, they will understand the interest rate that they are being charged, what are the repercussions that they might have to face whenever they are defaulting. Also, there is need for implementing the progressive fiscal policy, that is direct income support programs can come. For example, universal basic income, which was one idea which was mooted by the economic survey 2017-18, that everyone irrespective of their income is being provided a minimum level of income to address or to fulfill their essential needs like food, clothing, etc. If those kind of direct income support measures can be provided, especially to the lower households, that can help them to save their amount, save some income that they are paying for the debt at this point of time in the form of EMIs. Also, there is need for supporting the job creations, especially in the new arenas, especially in the labor intensive sectors like textile, etc. When people will have jobs, obviously when they will save money, and that savings will further be channelized towards investment in the economy, and which will further lead to the path of economic growth. Also, there is need for promoting growth of affordable credit products, and for this we need digital financial innovation. This we have witnessed after the Digital India reforms that we have seen, Digital India revolution that we have seen, that now it has become much easier for people to get access of credit. But we need more of the innovative products to meet the demand of the people, to meet the short-term needs as well as the long-term needs of the people related to the credit. Also, there is need for monitoring the debt stress and building early warning systems, that there can be mandated data sharing between the different lenders, whether it is the different banks belonging to public sector, private sector, or it is the non-banking financial companies. If there is a subprime borrowers who might default, the information of that can be shared between banks and NBFCs. That can help us, or that can help the other lenders to take a caution towards giving further loan to that particular person. A mains practice question is this from this topic that you people can write. In our simplified section, our first topic is this Baloch insurgency and the Pakistan train hijacking. In 21st century, you often doesn't hear such kind of news that there is a train which has been hijacked. But it is our lovely neighbor Pakistan. Anything is possible in Pakistan. And this particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 2, effect of policies and politics of countries on India's interest, and this has appeared in today's Indian Express explained section. So insurgency is an armed resistance against an established government or authority, often involving irregular forces and aiming to overthrow or challenge the political control of the establishment that is there in place. So here Baloch insurgents are the group are named as the Balochistan Liberation Army. They have stopped a long distance train in a rugged mountainous area, especially in this Balochistan region. The area is rugged, mountainous, deserted. There is less vegetation. Also the population density is very low. And it is south of Quetta, which is a big city in Pakistan. And they have also took passengers hostage on Tuesday. They have left women, children and some ordinary passengers, normal civilians. And they have kept hostages, mainly people belonging to the army, inter-service intelligence, as well as from the terrorism force, the Balochistan Liberation Army said. Also, this attack was carried out by this Majid Brigade, which takes out its name from a person who was a BLA commander who was killed by the Pakistani forces. Now, this Majid Brigade has carried out various operations in last few years. They were also involved in killing of some Chinese engineers. Along with that, they have taken out various suicide bombings, etc. And this Balochistan insurgency, if you look into this Balochistan, which is the largest but least populated of Pakistan 4 provinces, and it has substantial reserve of oil and gas alongside the gold and copper deposits, but has lagged in economic growth compared to other regions in the country. And especially the leaders of this Baloch minority have alleged that whatever the establishment that are in place, they have neglected, they have ignored the demand as well as the economic welfare of the people of the Baloch community, and that is the reason they are economically not very sound, as well as the welfare of people, the education, health facilities are very poor in these regions. Also, what happened that after partition, Balochistan remained an independent until March 1948 as part of a friendship treaty with the new state of Pakistan. But the Khan of Kalat, the main tribal leader whose writ ran over the much of the region, was keen to remain independent, but he came under tremendous pressure to join Pakistan, including from his feudatories, the rulers of Makran, Las Bela and Kharan, and that is the reason he signed an instrument of accession with the Pakistan. And over the last several years, they have targeted Chinese personnel and assets involved in the construction of infrastructure for the China-Pakistan economic corridor. They have also killed various Chinese nationals. Why? Because China is investing heavily in this region of Balochistan to extract the minerals that are there in place. And they have also invested heavily for their CPEC project. So you should keep an idea about the Quetta, the Balochistan, as well as the Chabar port and the Gwadar port, that these locations are very much important, okay, that this can be asked in the prelims examination. So this was the route of this particular train, that had the name of that train was the Jafar Express. Next topic is the message from Chagos, which is written by Mr. Sanjay Baru, who was a member of National Security Advisory Board of India from 1999 to 2001. And he has also written a very famous book. Please tell me the name of that famous book written by Mr. Sanjay Baru in the comment box. And this particular topic pertains to syllabus of your prelims, places in news, and syllabus of your GS paper 2, international relations. And this has appeared in today's Indian Express page number 10. So what the writer is saying, that it is mainly about the Chagos Island, that this Chagos Island, which is located here, okay. Now this was a colony of the Britishers itself, and it was part of Mauritius itself. And in 1968, the Mauritius got independence, and UK still had a authority. They still ensured their sovereignty over this Chagos archipelago because of its strategic location, and they have also developed a particular base in this particular in one of the islands of this particular archipelago. That was the Diego Garcia, which is jointly managed by UK and US. So what happened few days back, UK said that they will seize the sovereignty of this Chagos archipelago to the Mauritius itself. They will give the sovereignty to the Mauritius itself. But US, with the coming of President Donald Trump, had said that their investment in the Diego Garcia should not be jeopardized. So Mr. Sanjay Baru is saying this is a form of new imperialism. What is this imperialism? It is a policy where a country extend its powers, controls and dominance over the other territories, often through military forces, colonization or the economic influence, with the goal of exploiting the resources of that particular colony or that particular country. For example, the imperialism that India witnessed, that India was the colony of UK itself. And at that point of time, whatever the resources that were being produced in India, all that were being sent to the Europe, all that were being sent to the UK itself. So the exploitation of our resources has been done manifold. And the writer has given this example that India is only such country which doesn't went for an expansion of its territory after getting independence. India has ensured a mutual respect for territorial integrity. So the context is that India has done well with to reassure Mauritius by endorsing her claim over the Chagos Island, and Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri articulated the Indian view last week, stating that we support the Mauritius in its instance on its sovereignty over Chagos, and this is obviously keeping with our long-standing position with regard to decolonization and support for sovereignty and territorial integrity of other countries. And this is in the backdrop, and this particular statement came at a time when our foreign minister is visiting UK. Also, by taking a stand on Chagos, India has hopefully sent a message to all major powers that there has been surfeit of all activity around the globe, with major power once again acquiring territory or laying claim. So this new imperialism which is being witnessed across the globe, that there are new form of imperialism. For example, China, when they have lended heavily to some lower economic countries, some smaller countries. Now these countries got dependent on this China because of unsustainable debt which was provided by the China itself. So this is a kind of new imperialism which refers to a form of imperialism where powerful countries exert control or influence over weak nation, not through direct colonization but through economic, political or cultural dominance. The economic dominance that they have lended heavily to these countries. Now these countries are dependent on this particular country who has taken loan, who has provided loan, in this case China. So that is the reason that if the heavy investment will come from any country, these countries will be dependent on that particular country. That is the form of new imperialism against which India has taken a stance, and the writer has also taken a stance against that. Apart from that, there are some other islands located in this region. Try to have an idea. There can be a question that can be asked related to the maintaining or giving an idea about the different islands from north to south or south to north. Next topic is building compassion into healthcare structure. This is related to your GS paper 2 health, and this has appeared in today's The Hindu, page number 6. So this is written by the Nobel laureate Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, who also is the founder of Satyarthi Movement for Global Compassion, which is providing help to the children who are in distress. So he has emphasized on the point that there is need for compassionate health structure. Why? Because if the doctors whom we are meeting, whom we are consulting, if they are not compassionate, if they are not talking well, obviously it will take much time for us to be completely fine. But if there is a particular doctor who is listening very well, who is understanding the pain very well, who is also giving us a comforting situation to share our problems, especially in the case of mental health problems that is seeing a uptrend in last few years, then the health structure can be improved manifold. That is the main idea of this particular editorial which has been written. Now, what exactly is the difference between compassion, sympathy and the empathy? So, let's suppose there is a person who is just saying that I am sorry, you are in pain. So that is this distant relationship between the person who is in pain and the person who may help. That is the case of sympathy. Whereas in empathy, there is an emotional element involved where both the person who is in need and the person who might help have a shared emotional feeling, that the person is saying that I can practice the perspective taking by imagining what this pain might feel like. So at emotional level, at cognitive level, they are having the same thought. But in the case of compassion, it is not only the shared feeling, it is completely connected and action oriented. That is the main point. So the person who might help will say that you are suffering and I will do whatever I can do to help. The person will provide complete help to that person in the case of compassion. So that is the thing that is being highlighted by the writer of this particular editorial, that medical field is a noble profession. All the doctors that are involved, they should understand the problems of the patient properly, and they should not only understand but their action should also reflect that they are understanding the problems of people very well. That will help the patients also, that will help the people who are suffering from various diseases, and it will also help the overall medical industry with the goodwill that it will generate. So our next topic is this Kursk region of Russia, and this is related to your prelims syllabus, places in news, and this has appeared in today's The Hindu page number 14. So the Russia said on Tuesday that its troops had retaken over 100 square kilometer of territory and 12 settlements in the Kursk region as part of an offensive to force the Ukrainian army to flee. Why I have taken this topic is because of the fact that in past few years what we have seen, that the weightage of international relation, the weightage of the places in news has seen a significant uptrend. And this is the question of prelims 2023 itself. You can see that areas of conflict mentioned in news and country from where it belongs to has been asked in the prelims 2023 itself. So there are high chances that in your prelims 25-26 there can be some questions which will be related to places in news. So this is the Donetsk region, this is the Kursk region, Belgorod, Kharkiv, all these regions are mentioned. You can take help of this particular map itself and try to have an idea from where does this belong. And the positive point with these kind of questions is that even if you have a basic idea, you can get the answer of this question. For example, if I will ask you that Virat Kohli belongs to which sport, obviously all of you will say cricket. Okay, you will not say badminton. But if I will say, tell me the number of centuries of Virat Kohli in the ODIs or in the test or in the T20Is, obviously you will feel difficulty in answering that question because that is a specific question. So in these kind of questions where they are just asking that this place which was in news belongs to which country, that is a very general question where you cannot afford to make mistake, right? So try to have an idea about the major places, the rivers, because in 24 itself there was a question related to bordering countries on the North Sea. In 2023 there was also question related to the bordering countries of Ukraine. So the places in news has shown a greater number of questions. From places in news we have seen an increased number of questions in prelims examination. So have a good idea about that. Our last topic is International Criminal Court, which is related to your GS paper 2, important international institutions, and this has appeared in today's Indian Express page number 40. So as per the news item, the former president of Philippines was arrested on the allegations of crime against humanity on the orders of the International Criminal Court, which is located in The Hague. Now, he has been accused of crime against humanity, especially the deadly anti-drugs crackdowns he oversaw while being in office. So what is the difference between the International Criminal Court as well as the International Court of Justice? This is very important for your prelims perspective if we talk about the important organization. So ICJ was established in 1945, whereas the International Criminal Court was established much later in year 2002 itself. And this ICJ is the highest court of UN, whereas the International Criminal Court is not part of UN. But one of the major similarities between both the organization is the location is located in The Hague, Netherlands itself. Also, the ICJ's jurisdiction lies with the UN member state, whereas the International Criminal Court, here the jurisdiction between the individual countries. and also the individual peoples also. The type of cases, the legal disputes between states and the request for advisory opinions on the legal questions with regard to the territorial disputes and all those. Also, the ICC prosecutes individuals for the most serious crime as per the Rome Statute, for example, crime against humanity itself. The appeals with regard to the orders of the ICJ doesn't lie with any member, any further organization, whereas against the ICC, there are appeals that lie. Also, the enforcement power generally for the ICJ rulings there is none as such, and it mainly relies on the UN Security Council to uphold the judgments with the permanent members having veto power, whereas the ICC relies on the cooperation from member state to enforce its decisions. That is all from today's Analyst. Thank you for joining this session. All the very best and a very happy Holi to all the UPSC aspirants. You all are playing Holi every day with the colorful sticky notes and the different kinds of highlighters that you are using on your Lakshmikant, on your notes. And may your preparation be as colorful as the Holi festival and your success as vibrant as the brightest Gulal. Don't let the stress color your thoughts and stay focused, keep pushing and let your dreams shine. Make a target ugly Holi or Diwali officer wali. Thank you.